Karen's laugh was a hyena's cackle, sharp enough to curdle blood. She stood over my wife, Ellen, and Grandpa Joe, her bloated silhouette blocking the cabin's porch light like a storm cloud swallowing the sun. The gun in her meaty hand trembled not from fear, but from the thrill of power. She thought she was untouchable, a self-appointed queen of chaos, her voice dripping with venom as she spat. "You hillbillies don't belong here." Ellen clutched her side, blood seeping through her fingers, while Grandpa Joe, frail at 82, groaned on the dirt. His cane snapped beside him. Karen didn't know I was watching from the woods. My SWAT team's radios crackling softly, ready to end her reign of terror. It started 3 months ago, when Karen moved into the cabin down the ridge. She wasn't just a neighbor. She was a walking disaster. From day one, she'd strutted around like she owned the mountain, her oversized sunglasses and fake designer purse screaming entitlement. She'd scream at kids for playing too loud, report hunters for trespassing on public land, and once called the sheriff because our dog barked at her. That much a menace. She'd shrieked, though Rusty was a 12-year-old lab who could barely chase his own tail. Everyone on the ridge hated her, but we tolerated her until she crossed a line no one could ignore. Ellen and I had built our cabin with our own hands, a sanctuary where we'd retreat with Grandpa Joe to escape the city's noise. He loved telling stories by the fire, his voice raspy but warm, weaving tales of his youth in these very woods. Karen, though, saw our peace as an affront. She'd complain about our campfire smoke, our late-night laughter, even the way Grandpa's old truck rumbled. "You're ruining my vibe," she'd say, as if her gaudy wind chimes and blaring reality TV shows weren't the real nuisance. Last week, she escalated things, claiming our land was hers because of some survey error. She waved a forged document, her lips curling into a smug grin. "I'll sue you into the ground," she'd threatened. We ignored her, thinking she was all bark. We were wrong. That evening, I'd been called to a SWAT briefing in town, leaving Ellen and Grandpa Joe at the cabin. Karen must have seen my truck leave. She didn't know I'd looped back after the briefing was canceled, my team already on standby for a training drill nearby. When I got the call from Ellen, her voice shaky, saying Karen was at the door, ranting about taking what's mine, I knew something was wrong. I told her to lock the doors and stay calm. I was 10 minutes away, my team already mobilizing. By the time I reached the ridge, I heard the first gunshot. I parked a quarter-mile out, moving through the trees with my second-in-command, Ramirez, and rookie officer Daniels. The forest was silent except for the faint hum of cicadas and the crackle of our radios. We crept closer, the cabin coming into view. That's when I saw the Ellen on her knees, clutching her stomach, and Grandpa Joe crumpled beside her, his white hair stained red. Karen towered over them, her gun glinting in the porch light. "You think you're better than me?" she screamed, her voice thick with rage. "This is my mountain now." My heart pounded, but years of training kept my hands steady. I signaled Ramirez and Daniels to flank the clearing. Karen's arrogance was her weakness. She hadn't even checked the woods. She didn't know I was a SWAT commander, that I'd faced worse than her in hostage crises and gang raids. She thought she was the predator. She was wrong. "Karen," I shouted, stepping into the open, my rifle trained on her. Her head snapped toward me, her jowls quivering in surprise. For a moment, she faltered, but then that smug grin returned. "Oh, the big man's here," she mocked, waving the gun. "What are you gonna do? Huh? Cry for your wife?" Ellen's eyes met mine, weak but defiant, urging me to stay calm. Grandpa Joe wasn't moving. My finger twitched on the trigger, but I couldn't risk a shot, not yet. You don't get it, do you? I said, my voice low, controlled. You're done, Karen. Her laugh was shrill, but it wavered when she heard the rustle of boots behind her. Ramirez and Daniels emerged, their rifles locked on her. Her eyes darted between us, the reality sinking in. You're bluffing, she spat, but her hand shook. You won't shoot me. I'm the victim here. Drop the gun, Karen, I ordered. Last chance. She hesitated, her face twisting with defiance. She thought she could talk her way out, like she always did, charming the sheriff, bullying the neighbors, faking tears to get her way. But this wasn't a HOA meeting. This was my family, bleeding on the ground. She made her choice. With a snarl, she swung the gun toward me. Before she could pull the trigger, Ramirez fired a single, clean shot to her shoulder. The gun flew from her hand, and she collapsed, shrieking in pain. Daniels was on her in seconds, cuffing her wrists as she wailed about lawsuits and police brutality. I rushed to Ellen, tearing off my jacket to press against her wound. Stay with me, I whispered, my voice breaking. She nodded weakly, her hand gripping mine. Grandpa Joe stirred, groaning, his wound grazing but not fatal. Relief flooded me, but the rage still burned. As Ramirez hauled Karen to her feet, she kept screaming, her voice a pathetic mix of fury and fear. You can't do this. I'm important. You're nothing. I ignored her, focusing on Ellen as the medevac chopper's roar grew closer. Karen's words meant nothing now. She'd built her throne on lies and intimidation, but it was crumbling. The neighbors, drawn by the commotion, gathered at the edge of the clearing, their faces a mix of shock and grim satisfaction. They'd endured her tyranny too long. The medics arrived, stabilizing Ellen and Grandpa Joe. As they were loaded onto stretchers, I turned to Karen, now slumped in the back of a squad car. You thought you could take everything, I said, my voice cold. But you didn't know who you were messing with. Her eyes widened, but she had no comeback. For once, she was silent. The investigation unraveled her lies. The survey was a fraud. Her gun stolen. Her threats documented by neighbors who'd recorded her rants. Karen faced charges of attempted murder, assault, and fraud. The courtroom was packed. The community united against her. She tried her old tricks, crocodile tears, claims of victimhood, but the judge wasn't buying it. The gavel fell, and Karen was sentenced to 20 years. As she was led away, still shouting about her rights, the courtroom stayed silent. No one pitied her. Ellen recovered slowly, her spirit unbroken. Grandpa Joe, tougher than he looked, was back to his stories by the fire within weeks. The cabin, once a scene of horror, became our sanctuary again. We rebuilt, not just the bullet-scarred porch, but our sense of peace. Karen's reign was over. Her name a cautionary tale whispered on the ridge. She'd thought she could bully her way to power, but she'd underestimated me. The mountain was quiet now, the cicadas singing again. I sat with Ellen and Grandpa Joe, the fire crackling, their laughter filling the night. Justice wasn't just the handcuffs on Karen's wrists. It was this moment, this family, this home. We'd faced the storm and come out stronger. Karen had shot at us, but she'd missed the mark. We were still here. The end.